Yes, everyone, welcome back. My name is Stephen Howson, and this is post-match review. We're going to be looking at how United managed to get the 3 points today against West Brom, where we struggled, where we excelled a little bit, and maybe what this means for us going forward. Let us know in the comments who you thought was man of the match, what you thought was the main difference maker for United today, and we will get stuck straight into it. A couple of comments saying lack of match sharpness, missing good chances, poor performance, all that sort of stuff I think is exactly to be expected in this instance. Matthias says 2 questions. 1, can you give us your opinion on Lindelof now in comparison to what you thought of him 2 months ago? 2, do United should play with 2 strikers in Cavani and Rashford? I don't think you can use today as a barometer of Lindelof, although I think he's done decent. And I think that the comparison or the comment about Cavani and Rashford playing together is an interesting one, and I'm not necessarily against that, to be honest. I think that I'm a big fan of 2 striker systems. Jordan says we need Poch. No, we don't. Okay, but it is 3 points. It is a home victory, and that is something that we've desperately needed. So I'm happy that we've got, to be honest with you. Referee is man of the match for us, says Nitin. VAR says man of the match. How do we think that Tellez performed? Okay, so there is a couple of people asking about Tellez. Well, let's have a look how we thought it went down then. So this was United's lineup for today. I thought it was all right, I guess. I was a little bit gutted at seeing Marcus playing because I thought he was injured, and I think that sort of came to fruition a little bit. Like every time he went down, he looked like he was in absolute tatters. So not a good performance in the slightest today from Marcus, and he had an opportunity which we'll cover a little bit later on, and we'll see. Max said something in there I think was decent as well. I think he's right even. If Martial and Rashford scored, it's a convincing win. Yes, I think it probably would have been, but they didn't, and there was chances for them at the end, which, I'll be honest, if they'd have done a little bit better with, we could have been in trouble a little bit. Dean says, seeing the stat that we've only converted 7.7% of all shots attempted is a big worry. Would you think the more chances we're creating are lacking confidence in front of the goal? I'll have to check if that stat's correct first, because that seems a bit low. I'm going to be honest. That does seem a lot lower than I would expect us to be. We needed them to convert 1. Yeah, well, they didn't, and we kept a clean sheet, and we did win a game at home, so it's all good. Now, people asking about Tellez. For me, Tellez was a little bit restricted. I'd ideally like to see Tellez up here in the final third and even coming across here a little bit, because that's where I think he would have excelled, but he was kind of stuck here. This is really where we saw Tellez, and actually, as Marcus was a little bit all over the place, something that really disappointed me today was that we saw Tellez in this kind of area, and we saw Martial at times trying to do a bit of link-up play with him, but the link-up play he was getting from Martial was really delayed, and it really annoyed me. And I thought it was a massive drawback for United. And I didn't think we utilised what we could have done there with Tellez to the full capacity. If you get the ball in front of him, allow him to attack the ball and allow him to start whipping crosses in for people, that's when you can start, especially when you've got Juan Mata on the other side. Because essentially you've got a cluster of players like this coming into the box. And the truth is that we didn't utilise him in the slightest. And we didn't get the best out of Tellez at all for me. And we'll have a look. Oh, that's playing again. We're going to get rid of that. We'll have a look at where we actually saw Tellez crossing the ball today. And it wasn't good. It was a little poor, if we're being brutally honest. Let me get it up. Let's have a look at the crosses. Here we go. So let's have a look at the crosses there from Alex Tellez. 0 out of 8 successful. That's bad, isn't it? That's bad. 0 out of 8. I'd have tore Ashley Young a new one with this. So I have to do the same with Alex Tellez, and I have to say I think he's got to be better than that. We can see where they were coming in during the game. A couple in the first half, corners, coming from deep, corners. Not really any sort of level of consistency. They're in a decent enough area, to be fair. but it wasn't good enough in the slightest there from Tellers. And I thought one of the issues that we saw with United in the entirety of the game was, let's see, the average position for everyone. So Marcus was out here. Bruno was over here as well. Juan Mata was like here somewhere. Tellers is back here. Wan-Bissaka's up here. Two centre-halves probably a little bit higher than this. This is like United's average kind of shape. It just wasn't good enough. Juan Mata and Bruno, we saw at times where West Brom, exactly what we predicted and exactly what we saw in the beginning, in the preview that we did, and we talked about the gaps that open up in between the defence and midfield of West Brom, and we didn't exploit them. And that's why I've called this Free De Beek, because I think he's just got a lot more pace about him than Juan Mata. And Juan Mata was getting in some really good positions today. He was getting in some really good areas, but he wasn't able to capitalise. And as soon as Van De Beek came on, we saw him linking up with one-touch play on the right-hand side here with Wan-Bissaka. And I don't think that's where his role's going to be, where he ends up coming wide like this. But he's got the pace to be able to go around the back, and Juan Mata doesn't. Juan Mata is so predictable with what he's going to do. Now, he's still a good player, but he was incredibly predictable in terms of his play. And I thought Mata was isolated and dealt with on the right-hand side. Marcus was isolated and dealt with on the left-hand side. All of our play seemed to be coming through Fred, through Matic, and through Bruno in the central area. And really, that was it for United. There wasn't a lot outside of that little triangle of players there. There was nothing. It didn't really get to Martial enough. It didn't really get to anybody enough in the final third. But we had the opportunities and we had the shots. If we go and have a look at the shots that we managed to have, there was a lot of shots for United in this game. A lot of shots for United in this game. And if we take a look at the expected goals on the back end of these, we simply should have done better. This is United's shots. You look at the left-hand side of the screen there. This is United's shots that we had. 17 attempts, 7 on target. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them from inside the box. You got to be expecting to score more goals from that. And we didn't. And for me, that was a massive, massive issue, is that we were getting these sorts of opportunities. We were getting into good areas, and we didn't put them away. Now, the big one for me was Marcus Rashford on the 66th minute. Let's pull that one back up. So this is the one here. Marcus Rashford, 66th minute, 0.56 chance of scoring from that one. Incredible one. And then you had Harry Maguire's as well, which was, no, that's not the one. It's this one. Anthony Martial's, another one, 0.41. Those two, one of those literally should have gone in, and then the penalty. If you discount that and you just look at the numbers anyway, it should have been 2-0. Their chances were not amazing. There was that one from Ivanovic. I think this is the one which Dave saved with his feet. Yeah, Connor Townsend, the one that he saved with his feet. I'm amazed that was only a 7% chance of going in, because I thought that was a lot bigger of an opportunity. But, you know, it is what it is. We kept a clean sheet. We got the 3 points, and job is jobbed. Let's see what some of the comments are saying. 2.43 goals. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Poor decision starting Rashford. The fellow was clearly not up for it. Looks like he needs a break. Yeah, I mean, I said that in the preview. We are so left side dominant. Let's have a look. We are so left side dominant in the play. I find it easy for teams to defend up on us. That's why the stupid board needs to get all of the players he wants, and not a board thinks a good deal. Johnson was mint. Yes, there's also that as well. That also plays into it. Ole Hem says, Steve, long-suffering Albion fan and channel subscriber. Do I generally think United deserved the win tonight? Obviously biased, but I felt like a draw was fair results. Thoughts on Johnson? Johnson was incredible tonight. But yeah, I think United just about edged it, and actually 1-0 probably fair. I thought your penalty was probably a penalty, or your penalty claim was probably a penalty. But by the same rule, with how soft the penalties are, both penalties, the one we had was correct and the retaking was correct, and I think those cancel each other out. If you look at that, Harry says that stat conversion, that's for the 7.7 thing. Show me that. Show me where that is, actually. Because I think if you're looking at our expected goals overall, we're not a million miles away from where we're supposed to be. If I can get them up for a sec. Let's pull them up and have a chat about them. So this is United's expected goals from open play. We're actually a tiny bit better than we should have been. Expected goals from open play is 6.09. We've scored 8, so we're ahead on that one. We're a tiny bit down. 1 expected goal, 1.15 expected goals from corners. We've got 1. 1.38 expected goals from set pieces. We've got 1. 3.04 from penalties. We've got 3, proving the accuracy of expected goals. 0.17 expected goals. Obviously, you can't score 0.17 expected goals from free kicks, and we've scored none. So in terms of our overall expected goals, we're about where we should be, aren't we? Overall, that's where we are. So, where's this conversion rate coming in? I don't think that conversion rate's right. We've seen what we're getting there. 1 in 23, not great. 8 in 72, again, not great. 3 and 4 from penalty spot, 1 in 7. I don't know if that adds up to 7% or not. I'd have to get my calculator out and have a see, but we are not far off what our expected goals believes we are, and we can go through the players and see who's ahead and who's below on all this lot. So Marcus is ahead. Bruno's ahead. Marcus is expected to have had 2.3. He's got 2. Bruno's expected to have 3.9. He's got 6. There's no one there that's a massive miss, really. Anthony Martial probably should have had at least 1. Outside of that, not a hell of a lot in it, to be honest. Really not a hell of a lot in it. That's all. 2 clean sheets for De Gea. Cavani looked good, says Darcy. Yeah, Cavani did look good. I thought Cavani did look good today. Crazy that we're 7 points from top with a game in hand. I mean, it's possible. It is possible, but let's not get carried away. Sancho was an unused sub today. Was he now? I saw that they had that young player that turned up. I don't know how he got on or anything, but I saw that Haaland scored 4 goals, so something else in. Let's see what the Patreon group is saying in terms of questions, if I can get it to load up. It's not having it. I think my computer is struggling with processing all of this lot and then loading this up as well. Let's try and click on it. Right then, review questions. Is Marshall a little too like Rashford, says Gary? I've seen Cavani up front being the focal point that we've missed. Imagine he was 25. Imagine. Really makes me question whether Marshall's the striker we need to win the league. I've been saying to you since Ollie got here, I don't think he fancies him. Maybe you can sort of start to see why a little bit. I don't think he'll be here that long, to be honest. Are we the best team in Europe or the universe? No. Why can't our Brazilians shoot? Because we only buy hipster Brazilians. A win is a win. Based on that performance, does this match worry you for the team's prospects this year and for Ollie? No. West Brom are strange, right? Because they're not a team that parks the bus. They don't really properly park the bus like a lot of teams do, but they are a team that gets 9 men behind the ball. So, no, I told you on Friday, they might not have won yet, but don't just think that this is an easy 3 points. This is going to be a tough game for us, and that's pretty much what it proved to be, didn't it? So I certainly wouldn't think that you can just turn up and beat these. Not an impressive win, but a win nonetheless and a clean sheet. Reckon we get a run going now, or is that too giddy? Unfortunately, I think it might be a tiny bit giddy because there's an awful month ahead of us. Awful 2 month ahead of us. Some serious amount of football that we've got to try and get ourselves through. I am not confident for this going forward. I think we're really going to struggle. And I think it's just a sheer number of games. And I think we're not going to be on our own, actually. I think the good thing is I think there's a lot of teams going to be dropping points. So hopefully we can still be in and around the mixer. Now at a beat West Brom, is a title charge on? No. Why won't someone teach Marshall how to receive a ball with a defender on his back? There's a lot he needs to learn, isn't there, as a number 9? His link-up play annoyed me today. There was a few times where he could have allowed Tellez the option to run on, and he just didn't. And honestly, it was so frustrating. Another solid performance from Big Dave. Do you think we might see the best of him again this season? It might be too early to say that he's turned a corner, but I definitely agree with you. I definitely think Big Dave is having a better season than he's had in recent seasons, without a shadow of a doubt. I think he's doing bits this season. Where is Van De Beek, Cavani, Bailly, James? This is where Van De Beek, Cavani, Bailly, James will get minutes. You might be right. Yeah, you might be right. United to attack more strictly and not move so freely like Marshall and Rashford going all over the place. Did you not watch us under Van Gaal? Pointless having Ole looking not to lose versus West Brom. Can you explain what you mean by that comment, please, pal? Because I don't think that makes any fucking sense, if I'm being completely honest with you. Matic had one of the highest amount of passes in the final third. We pushed forward. I said at half time, I'd like to see Van Der Beek because I don't think you're necessarily getting the best out of the players that are on here. But do you know what I mean? But yeah, how much better did everybody move when Cavani came on? This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm going to have to go and try and explain to Adam McCullough in a minute when I go and do my my fan cam with him and say, listen, mate, this ain't it. Do you think someone who wants to go up front, Marshall, drifts a lot to the left like Henry? Henry did that early in his career. He didn't do that so much latterly in his career. It's hard to believe that we're ahead of Man City. It is if you look at the reaction. It is if you look at the reaction, because I'm still seeing people talking about other managers. No one's doing that with fucking Guardiola, and he spent how much? Yeah. I wonder if we tie Cavani down or look for a proper striker in January or summer. I still think he wants that kid that scored 4 today for Dortmund. I really do. I really, really do. There is so much potential just waiting to be unleashed at United, but there is something holding it back. It's probably a little bit of confidence, to be honest. A little bit of confidence. Do I think that international break played a part on Marshall and Rashford not being crisp? It was one chance. I think, let's have a look. How many shots did Marcus have today? He definitely should have scored the one that he had. Well, I say definitely. He had a very good opportunity. So he had 2 shots here today. Let's get these up. So this is the 2 shots that Marcus had. Obviously, the one inside the 6-yard box, very good opportunity. The one from outside the box, you're not really expecting him to score that. That's not enough chances. That's just simply not enough chances. Let's go through and have a look. Everyone's favourite darling today, Harry Kane. How many shots did he have today? We didn't have any shots. Who had a lot of shots in the City game? 22 shots. Jesus. So, Kevin De Bruyne. 6 shots. That's wasteful. Marcus had 2. Sterling wasn't even on the pitch very long. How many did he have? Did he have many? Ferran Torres, he had 4. He had 1 there from the same place that Marcus had it. You can't call Marcus wasteful on 2 shots when you see some of the amount of shots that other people are having across the league. Even, let's have a look at the Aston Villa game. What was the sort of shots going down in there? Welbeck got 1 out of 2. Trezeguet, 7 shots. That's wasteful, brothers. 7 shots, virtually all 7 shots inside the box, nil point. That's wasteful. If you said, do you know what? But when was the last time you saw any United player having 7 shots? 7 shots. That's outrageous amount of shots. They only had 15 shots in total. My guy's out here taking 7 of them. Inside the box and all. I'd like to see what the expected goals was for him for that, because that's mental. But yeah, Marcus probably should have scored the one that he had. But he didn't. But we got the 3 points. So that, ultimately, is happy days, isn't it? We should have lost. Not really. Maguire played well, surprisingly. How about Sancho in Jan and Haaland in the summer? I think you'd do very well to get both of those players out of Dortmund in 2 windows. It's going to cost you all the money and riches in the world, I would imagine. Was it a penalty for West Brom? I think it probably was, yeah. Yeah. I can only bring in one, Haaland or Sancho. Here's the problem, man. I think we need both. So what do? Maybe you go for a slightly cheaper option of both if you've only got the option of bringing potentially one in. Yeah. United had 1.7 non-penalty expected goals and scored 0. Surely someone is wasteful. It's 1.7 goals. Like I said, there probably should have been a goal between Martial and Rashford. But it's a goal. It's not 7 shots. You're looking at he had 1 good opportunity and didn't score it. That's not like having 6 or 7 or, just madness. Madness. Righty, I'm going to wrap it up there, but cheers for tuning in. 5 things we learned will be out in the morning, so make sure to subscribe and check it out for that. Give us a like if you like it, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.